can get to boot camp if you want to go. You can live on campus during boot camp. So if you're going to live in the residence halls, you can move into your dorm room a week early. There is a little bit of an additional charge for that. If you're going to commute from off campus, that's great too. You get to eat in the dining hall for the entire week, which I mean, actually is pretty good. The dining hall is tasty. So, I mean, it's way better than dorm food was when I was in school for sure. Right. So we highly recommend that you attend boot camp if it's at all possible. We realize it's not possible for everybody, but it does improve outcomes in every measurable way. Right. So we would really recommend that you do this. The other thing we want to highlight is our living learning community. So this is for students who are going to be living in the residence halls. It's a wing of Johnson Hall that is all biology and chemistry majors. So everybody on your floor is majoring in biology or chemistry. So again, another great way to find people to study with, because everybody there is going to be taking the same exams as you are. They're in the same classes as you are. It's a great way to find friends to go do social things with, because they probably have many of the same interests as you. Biology majors, chemistry majors are all, somewhat similar. I mean, they're diverse, but, they're all frankly nerds. All right. That's the way science people are. All right. If you're coming to campus with a roommate picked out and they're a psychology major or something like that, you can't live in the living learning community. But if you don't have a roommate picked out, there's a little box you can check when you're picking your dorm room, and you can just get placed into the living learning community with a fellow bio or chem major. We do have programming throughout the year. So we have advising nights where advisors come over and answer whatever questions you guys might have in the dorms. There's social things, study groups, and all kinds of things like that. We also have a program called Cookies and Careers, where we bring snacks and someone from the community who has a job related to biology or chemistry. Right. So they may be on a med school admissions committee, they may be a dentist, they may be something like that, or they may work for Wildlife and Parks or at the Kansas City Zoo or KC Crime Lab, and talk about their career and their journey from sort of where you are to where they are. So how did they decide that that was the career that they wanted to do? And then what they do on a daily basis. Most people don't know what it's like to work for the Kansas City Crime Lab or as a physician or a dentist, other than sort of the general idea of you go in, you wear scrubs and you cut people open, right? So if you can live in the living learning community, highly recommend it. If you're not in the living learning community though, you can take part in all the programming. So we send invitations out to all of our students. And so you're welcome to come over if you want to, network a little bit in the Cookies and Careers program, right? Okay, so those were really the only things that I wanted to highlight. Right, I do want to put my contact info on here. So if after today you think of other questions pop up, you need some more information, you can call the undergraduate office. So that's our just normal central phone number. So it's 235-2580. You can call me directly at 235-2329, or the best way to get a hold of me is through email. And there's my email. Faculty emails tend to be our last name plus our first initial. Evidently, there's another Reed A somewhere, so I got my middle initial added on there. So it's reedaw@umkc.edu. So if there's ever any questions we can answer, things we can help with, just let us know. All right. All right. So now I will just turn it over to you guys. So you guys can ask any questions that you want. I can help you, with whatever related to UMKC or biology or chemistry. How do you sign up for the boot camp? Okay, good question. So the deadline to sign up is August 1st, and there's no cap. So we will have 500 boot campers if everybody wants to come. Okay, so don't feel like you're in a rush. Earlier is always better. But I will share my screen again. Let's see. Okay, we'll go pipeline. All right, if you go to our website, sbc.umkc.edu, and scroll down on the main webpage. Interested in attending boot camp? Click on the Learn More. That picture takes a while to load. But down here will be Register for Boot Camp. And all you got to do is click that button. You take what's called a Qualtrics survey, basically fill out a form, and you'll be registered for boot camp. Do we get to move into our dorms early if we go to the boot camp? Yes. One of the questions when you register will be, do you want to move into the residence halls early? You have the option not to, and some of our local students take advantage of that. But if you'd like to move into the dorms, all you do is check mark that box and say, yes, I do. And you will be ready to move in on that Sunday, on the 15th. So a week before anybody else can. Again, there is an additional charge for that. Last year, it was $125 to move in that week early. We don't know what it will be this year. The rates are not set until sometime in June, but it will be approximately that. It's not going to go up to like $3,000 or anything. So it will be approximately $125 for that extra week in the residence halls. And we'll talk about this at orientation as well. So you will get bugged about registering for boot camp. So if you forget to do it or haven't done it or forget how to do it, we'll walk you through it at orientation too. How do I feel about the summer bridge program? Okay, so we'll start with that one. I like the summer bridge program. It's really nice. You get college credit for it. And there's assistance. So it's not like you were just starting over the summer and we throw you in the deep end. So there's academic assistance and things like that. It's a really, again, a great way to sort of ease into being in college. You're taking one class, usually a math class, but not always. And it allows you to become a college student without having the full pressure of a full semester. It is a commitment. It's your last summer of freedom before college, and not everybody wants to do it. But it's a great program if it fits with your schedule, for sure. So how many people usually attend the boot camp? Around 120 students is what we'll have. So we'll bring in, and it may be more this year. We've got a lot of students coming in, both freshmen and transfer. And this is open to any student who is enrolling in either general biology or general chemistry in their first semester. So if you have a friend who's going to be a psych major at UMKC, and they're going to take general bio or general chemistry, they can go to boot camp too. They'll be invited to go to boot camp, but you can tell them to register for it ahead of time too. We're bringing in, it looks like a mess of students this year. So we'll have 300 or so incoming students. So it may be up to 150, 175 that do boot camp this year. All right. So we're prepared for whatever number. And like I said, anybody who wants to go sure can. And be prepared. It is a busy week. All right, we will run you ragged during that week. Your schedule is full. I think in the past, if we don't have it up there, we should. Yes, so there's a sample tentative schedule on there. This isn't the official, absolutely, this is what it's going to look like schedule. I'll pull that up. We're not 100% sure what the schedule is going to look like quite yet, but it will show you pretty accurately what we're going to do. All right. So 8 a.m. on that Monday is your first lecture. Right. And then we'll talk about navigating technology. So someone from IT is going to come over and talk about all of the various software systems you'll use, how to access them, how to use them, those sorts of things. Talk about academic skills, another lecture, SI, which is supplemental instruction. So we do everything that you're normally going to do in a semester. We'll have supplemental instruction, we'll have tutoring, we'll have you name it. It will be just like a regular semester smushed into 1 week. The nice thing is it will make that first week of class seem really, really, really simple, because you won't be nearly as busy once class starts as you are during boot camp. So it is kind of exhausting, but it's also a really good program. It does help. So are you all registered for orientation? Okay, good. Yeah, unfortunately, orientation is going to be virtual again this year, which is a bummer. It actually it works pretty well. There's no problem with it, but it's not as much fun to be on Zoom as it is to be up here on campus during orientation. Orientation is always fun. You know, a few hundred eager incoming freshmen walking around campus. Usually it's nice out, but we got to deal with what we got to deal with. And just so everybody knows, the plan right now is that there will be no social distancing. There will be no, can't say anything about masks. That hasn't been addressed, but that social distancing is we're not counting on it for the fall. We're hoping that just disappears, that we return to some semblance of normal with the amount of vaccine that's out there now. I don't know tons about commitment day. We've just really started planning that. As far as whether you should do it, you should do everything that you possibly can. Commitment day, the week of welcome, the first week that you're on campus. Well, actually, kind of first 3 weeks that you're on campus, but especially the first week, there's all kinds of stuff like tailgates and soccer games and this program and that program. Take advantage of all of it. Your schedule is actually going to be pretty open, depending. If we just go by class schedule, your schedule will be pretty open. You'll take 15 credit hours or thereabouts your first semester. That means you're really only in class for 15 hours a week, which is not what you're used to coming out of high school. Coming out of high school, generally, you're in class from 8 to 3, something like that, essentially nonstop. In college, it's going to be you're in class from 8 to 9, and then noon to 1, and then maybe you got a lab on Mondays from 1 to 3, and that's it. And then we have a lot of freshmen who end up with a day off. That Tuesday they have no class. So fitting in things, little silly things like a tailgate or whatnot is really easy. Take advantage of it. Go to soccer games, go to basketball games, be a college student. So it depends upon what you mean by core classes. Like if you have your all of your general education done, like you're coming in with an associate's degree, you can have a lower number of credit hours. It sort of depends upon what your career goals are. Which is one thing you should, when we're doing orientation, make very clear to your advisor that especially if you want to go to dental school, I would highly recommend that you look into the reserved admissions program, which is essentially early admissions for dental school. And it requires 15 hours a semester. You have to be enrolled in 15 hours every semester. If you're coming in with an associate's degree, which is becoming more and more common, Graduating high school with a high school diploma and a college diploma. Yep. So 30 credit hours. All right. So you want to go to dental school? Again, it would depend a smidgen about exactly what you had before, but you will take General Bio 1, General Chemistry 1, and their labs, and you would take 2 electives. You would really want to get to 15 hours just so you're eligible for that reserved admissions program. Maybe you decide you don't want to do it. You don't want to go to UMKC Dental, something like that. That's great. We don't want to make you ineligible your first semester. So the bio and the chem are really standard. If you're coming in with 30 credit hours, you may still have some general education classes to go. And so that may be one of them. If you've taken general chem in high school, probably if you took it dual credit, it's great. All right. AP, we kind of want to think about it a little bit. So some professional schools will not accept AP scores for their required courses. For English, for math, for history, that's fine. They're okay with that. But for chemistry, biology, physics, those sorts of stuff, they may not accept AP scores. Right. So that's one thing. The other thing that I'll ask you to be honest about with yourself. You don't have to tell me. How good was your chem class in high school? If it was good, if you learned a lot, if you felt like your teacher in high school pushed you and it was a very high quality chemistry class, then depending upon which ones you took, we could start you off in organic chemistry, or we could start you off with physics instead of chemistry, depending upon how you felt about all of that, right? If, on the other hand, being honest with yourself, you were like, that was my easiest dual credit class, that I did not learn much, then maybe we want to retake it. The concern is all of your future classes are going to build on these initial ones. Okay. And if you took a general chemistry class and it was a blow off and you got an A in it for just showing up to class and you don't feel like you learned chemistry, it will come back to haunt you later when you take the DAT. So the admissions test for getting into dental school, general chemistry is on there. And if you didn't learn it in your course, you're going to have to teach it to yourself. But also when you get into organic or general chemistry too. Right. Now, there are dual credit classes that are fantastic. I'm not trying to belittle those or say that you definitely should retake chemistry, but just be honest with yourself about how it went. And if you feel pretty strong on chemistry, then we'll come up with plan B, which would be either hopping straight into organic chemistry or taking physics instead of chemistry 1. But again, we'd want to get you to 15 hours to make sure that you're eligible for that reserved admissions program. And with 30 hours, you should also kind of expect to graduate a year early, or at least a semester early. Now, again, that's totally up to you. We will keep you here. Well, we'll keep you here for 4 years. Then we're wanting to kick you out. Not really, but we don't want you to be in school any longer than you have to be. If you'd rather be in school for 4 years and take all the time, that's great. You always remember this is your degree. Okay, you're the one who has to do it, not me. I can give you advice on what to do, but I'm not the one who has to take the classes. Okay, I'm not the one who has to, go on and have a career in dentistry or, clog dancing or whatever after this. So always advocate for yourself. So if you want to take such and such a class, if you want to not take general chemistry and go straight into organic chemistry, advocate for that for sure. But having 30 hours, that's 2 semesters worth of classes. So you should be able to graduate in 3 years. So that should be our initial plan, that you graduate in 3 years. My daughter, she just started at K-State this past year. I mean, she hasn't gone to K-State yet. She still lives in our basement. But yeah, she's doing the whole 4-year thing, even though she had 30 some odd hours from dual credit in high school. Keep trying to get her to triple major in something, but she's not doing it. All right, well, I'll just continue talking. So interrupt with any question. But the other one thing I want to suggest to you, so your first semester at UMKC really should be you getting your feet under you in college. Whether that be getting used to college classes, whether that be, you know, getting used to being away from home for the first time, whatever. Spend some time making sure you're going to be successful in the classroom, right? Because regardless of what you want to do, if you want to go to dental school, med school, something like that, for sure. But if you want to go be a research biologist, you need to have good grades, right? And so that's our first priority, is to make sure that you're handling the classroom work. Then the second semester is when you should start really branching out into student groups and other things. But what I would encourage you to do, either your second semester of your freshman year, or at least by the beginning of your sophomore year, is getting involved in research, right? We're a research intensive unit, is what they call us. Basically what that means is all faculty do research. That's, for many of our faculty, that's 50% of their job. That's what their job performance is based off: how many papers they publish, how many grants they get, stuff like that. What it means for undergraduates is all kinds of research opportunities just within our school. And so reach out to some faculty members, maybe your second semester here, maybe your start of your sophomore year, or the summer before your sophomore year, something like that, and at least try out research. Right? Most people have no idea what research really is. You know, they've seen that stock footage of people pipetting in a lab, especially with coronavirus. We've all seen that kind of stuff. Getting some experience in a research lab can be eye-opening. That's how a lot of our students figure out what it is that they want to do for their career. It also looks really good on a resume. So if you want to go to med school, dental school, vet school, something like that, and you've got research, especially if you present a poster at a meeting, co-author a publication, something like that, that is a huge feather in your cap for those applications. Other big thing that research experience does is gives you a good letter of recommendation, right? For any of these professional programs or for graduate school, you're going to need 3 letters, at least, sometimes a little bit more. Most of those are going to come from professors, right? If you've been in someone's research lab, you're going to have all kinds of interaction with them. They're going to know you really, really well. And they're going to be able to write a 2-page letter of recommendation about how awesome you are. Then your other 2 letters from professors can be the sort of standard 1-page. Yep, I had Amy in class. She was really bright, liked her a lot, recommend her, where there's not a whole lot of detail because they don't know you all that well, but it just sort of confirms that there's no red flags. But you have this one big long letter that talks about how awesome you are. Right? That's another real benefit of having research experience. Research is not required for your degree. Okay, so don't feel like you have to do it, especially if you try it out and do not like it. Okay, and it's not for everyone. It is. Well, I enjoy it, so I find it exciting, but most mortals do not. All right, there's a lot of monotony involved in research. You see the stock footage of the person pipetting. They do a lot of that. Like, they pipette for hours a day, and then they're just sitting there. My research is all mathematical, so I sit at a computer writing computer code and doing data analysis. I've got my earbuds in with my eclectic playlist and I'm having a ball. But for other people, that is one of the levels of hell from Dante's Inferno. Okay. And if that's you, if you don't enjoy it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't make you less of a person or anything, and certainly won't hurt an application. So if you're applying to med school, dental school, and you don't have research on there, they're not going to look sideways at your application. It's just a really good way to gain some practical experience in biology, maybe help figure out what you want to do, but also improve your application to any of these programs. So I'm the dude to talk to when it comes time. If you need some help finding somebody to do research in their lab, I'm sort of the liaison for that. So all you got to do is come talk to me and I can help you find some research experience. All right. Do you guys have any more questions? Anything else you want to talk about? Okay. Well, don't feel like you have to stay here. I realize that Zoom is, I've got Zoom fatigue. I'm sure you guys do too. You guys may be back in school face to face, but you still probably had a lot of remote days in the past year. So we can give you a little break before you head out to your next thing. Maybe go grab a snack or something. All right. But let me throw this back up here. But just remember, if you have questions, if there are things that you think of later on today or next week or whenever, I'm always around. So never hesitate to contact me. I will help you with whatever it is that I can help you with. Okay. All right. So I will see you guys around at orientation.